What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. Hope everyone's doing well. We're doing a quick morning video before I have to run. So recent big news, we have Ripple, the company, announces acquisition of Standard Custody and Trust Company, expanding its portfolio of regulatory licenses. So this definitely could be a huge acquisition, helping with regulatory compliance. This move further underscores Ripple's commitment to regulatory compliance and enables the company to strengthen its existing product offerings as well as explore new complementary products. And right here, the increase in institutional adoption of crypto and blockchain is a result of more mature and highly secure products in the market that are fully regulated and compliant. So we talked in previous videos about DeFi and how it will be regulated to some degree. In ways, regulation like KYC and AML is a bad thing, but it's also needed to allow institutions to comfortably come in and actually use this technology. So we know Ripple and its subsidiaries hold a New York BitLicense, nearly 40 money transmitter licenses across the US, a major payment institution license from the Monetary Authority of Singapore like the Central Bank of Singapore, and a virtual asset service provider registration with the Central Bank of Ireland. And don't forget that the Dubai Financial Services Authority approved the digital asset XRP to be used within the DIFC. And Dubai also has VARA, which is the Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority. And if you go to the DIFC's website, difc.ae, and go to the Who We Are page, we can see this. The DIFC has close to a 20-year track record comprised of 72 countries, a combined population of around 3 billion people, and a nominal GDP of approximately 8 trillion. So with the Ripple acquisition of Standard Custody, enabling enterprises to reap the benefits of blockchain across a host of financial use cases building institutional-grade solutions. An XRP, like most assets, will continue to get a lot of hate until we see a large pump like we typically do each cycle. And we're seeing a bunch of building on the XRP ledger that we've discussed in previous videos, the EVM sidechain, clawback, other amendments in the AMM. And I know Ripple, the company, was valued at like $8 or $10 billion years ago, so I'd be curious what they're valued at today. Because we know with Ripple's acquisition of Medico, they later said they expect the institutional crypto custody market to be $10 trillion by 2030. So people can hate on XRP, they said it was going to zero for the last 10 plus years, but I think it's going to be one of the assets that survives. Ripple supports live commercial custody offerings in 20 regulatory jurisdictions and payments into 70 countries around the world. And the people behind Standard Custody are very big names like Jack McDonald, and we've gone over them before. And just remember, now that the Bitcoin SPY ETF's approved and organizations like BlackRock and Fidelity now have infrastructure for Bitcoin, it's likely that we see one for Ethereum and other assets in the future, XRP, Solana, etc. We already have ETFs today, and they're 100% backed by XRP, and they're held in cold storage, and this fund right here has $49 million in XRP. Next up, for Casper, so we have this tweet where this gentleman said, where I announced I'm selling some of my Casper was actually a bottom signal. I haven't sold my Casper. Please show me where I said this. The only two tweets I can think of are two massive tweets I made for IPW to update everybody of the good and bad like any investor should be aware of. Going through the pros, the cons, the potential acquisition of IPW by other large organizations worth in the billions. Discussing how IPW looks like they are restructuring because this bankruptcy is not for liquidation of assets, this is a restructuring. And how the IPW CEO is also discussing for IPW in Switzerland in March, discussing IP financing. Talking about the last test, the frustrations of the mints, the announcements, the delays, as every single investor has witnessed. The test mints and endless videos I've made on YouTube explaining this, the pros and the cons, what we need to see, T1 exchanges, more enterprise apps on mainnet. We talk all about what we're seeing on the testnet with Nucleus Finance. There are a lot of good things. If I'm sharing bad things, that is not me trying to fund any network or asset. I want to talk about the good and the bad. And I don't think me pointing out that we need applications and transactions on the mainnet to drive demand is a bad thing. And after sharing potential outcomes of IPW deploying or IPW not even restructuring, we should be aware of the good and bad. Explaining in detail why I don't think Casper's a rug pull, where a lot of people have no understanding of Casper's virtual machine versus the EVM. Casper Labs presents at Davos alongside the DTCC. This is the Fed before the Fed, along with IBM being part of IBM's Global Partner Program, and the plan to roll Casper Network out for AI governance into all of IBM Cloud. So I've always tried sharing my own thoughts. I think this is an enterprise blockchain trying to impact real-world economic activity in a very complex market, and yes, they've had hiccups along the way. I've explained a bunch of times that we're in accumulation between 2 to 6 cents, waiting to take out that 7-cent fair value gap, and then we're breaking out of accumulation, and then I'm actually confident in getting a retracement. And this is the only part I can think of, not financial advice. I'll personally be keeping my holdings long term, but considering allocating some of it to new alts. And in this scenario, as I've shared in dozens of videos explaining the bull run, when Bitcoin pushes into all-time highs and the performance that alts have, I wait for assets to actually appreciate in price before I rotate. I already made those other 2 tweets way too long with information. I'm better off not even saying anything. For anybody that was with me, in 2020 and Q1 of 2021, I rotate. For my portfolio, I have a large chunk in Casper, and yes, I intend to sell it as any investor should. So this is a huge reason why I repeat myself so many times on YouTube, because this usually happens on Twitter. Even last year, there was a video where I specifically talked about buying Casper only if it goes under 3 cents even. And I explained we're in accumulation between 2 to 6 cents. We were just going back and forth. I will only be buying if we go under 3 cents. I'm waiting for the fair value gap at 7 cents to be taken out. And then I see guys on Twitter saying that Kevin says Casper's going down. That's not what I said. Words are always twisted. I agree, I should have been more clear. I just put so much information in these previous tweets with all links and resources. All I want is to see altcoins moon and people that watch this channel to win. So I guess I fudded Casper with that tweet. I am far from perfect, but I'm always going to try my best to share both sides, because every investor should know both sides, the good and the bad. When I share good news, I'm called a shill. When I share bad news, I'm a fudster. You can't win. And I've made over 1,600 videos on YouTube since 2018, hoping to help people by sharing the good and the bad and how I assess investments. I want everything the moon in future cycles, and I want to know that I had a net positive on people's lives in the future. We're at a very exciting time to find out if we can get that all-time high for Bitcoin this year. In the bear market, I was accused of dumping the market, and when we pump, I'll be accused of pumping the market. I can't move the market for Casper. I'm a regular dude researching and speculating like everybody else. I did well last cycle, so did everybody. And yes, I'm planning to stagger my sells for my holdings as we go up in price like every investor should. I've done exit plan videos in detail explaining I'm holding 25% long term for different assets that I have high conviction in, including Casper, because I want to stake this long term. And I guarantee if I shared when we're at 20 cents, I take out my initial investment for Casper and letting the rest ride, I'm going to be called a fudster. I'm not monetized on Twitter. I try to share real information and my opinion, and I'm right and wrong. And if you've watched my videos, I've explained that IPW could still deploy, and when I say that, people are like, nope, that's hopium, hypester, and they really could with restructuring. I'm just not holding my breath in the short term because they need the restructure before we can entertain a full deployment. So if you're following me for sunshine and rainbows and only good news to make it feel good, I'm not your guy. There are plenty of other channels. There are many other channels out there making tens of thousands of dollars for single videos talking about microcaps and potential scams. I'm focused on assets and networks that I believe are legitimate and can fundamentally change things and be here in the future. So when I talk about assets, HBAR, Casper, XRP, Algo, any other assets I didn't name, I'm just waiting for price action. I'm personally not selling my bags that are in accumulation-like structures like this. Now, if Bitcoin pushes into new highs, we're likely going to get very strong retracements to fair value gaps, and then I will be staggering out sells. For me, with my alts, my long-term holdings, we crash or we're in accumulation. I'm just accumulating because I believe in higher prices. If you don't believe that these assets go up, that's completely fine. Next up, for Hashpack, they are introducing a new token, and FYI, I am not paid to talk about Hashpack. I shared that they're one of my favorite wallets for L1s because it's just seamless integration, easy staking, everything. They followed me on Twitter. And the same thing for other pages like HBAR Foundation, Casper Network. When I started tweeting about them more, they followed me. So I am not paid to talk about these groups. You can ask them. Now, what's interesting about this project is that we know Saucer Swap in the Hedera DEX ecosystem has been doing very well. The Hedera community is strong, so I'm very interested in PAC because some investors might not actually be interested in the DEX and Saucer Swap, and a lot more investors that use Hashpack or stake their HBAR may be interested in this token. A utility token that's made for the community to reward our loyal supporters and provide value for both new and existing users of Hashpack. They'll be launching in early Q2 of this year, so in the coming months. We don't know too much about the tokenomics, distribution, and the utility of the token, but we're going to stay tuned. And also keeping tabs on Hello Labs, they have a small cap that has done very well, and they've partnered with NFT Paris and Casper Network to search for projects to be on Season 2 of the Killer Whales TV show. So I'm excited to check this show out. It might be a little corny, Shark Tank vibes, but this is going to be really cool for Web3. And Casper is the first Layer 1 blockchain to join Killer Whales as an official partner. Likely thanks to Anthony Scaramucci, because I know that he has Casper Labs in his portfolio, for equity, I believe, but does he have Casper tokens? That I'm not sure of. If you guys know, please let me know, because I want him to have Casper tokens. And the same thing for El Mascari and Skybridge. El Mascari is connected to the royal family of Abu Dhabi. We'll talk about this in the next video shared by Rekt Vojak. $5 billion AUM Swiss company uses Casper network infrastructure for its 220,000 contracts. And for the XRP ledger, we'll keep tabs on Ethereum Denver for speakers at the XRPL zone. On February 27th, they're going to be showing the Ethereum Denver and EVM community the unique opportunity to launch cross-chain applications using the XRPL. The XRPL is extremely efficient. I want all of this to go swimmingly. Connecting to the EVM with 700 blockchains is a huge deal, and this is something that we needed years ago. Anyways, we'll keep this video short and sweet, guys. We have a bunch to dive into in future videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the like button, let me know your thoughts down below, and my link tree is linked in the top of this YouTube video description, with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.